Thank you.
I want to take the opportunity to thank everyone for being here today. Really appreciate the turnout today. I want to take the moment to also recognize some of the people who are here with me. Microphone people, Representative Mike Burns, Representative Leola Robinson Simpson, Representative Dwight Loftus, Senator Tom Corbin, Representative Bill Chumley, Councilman Joe Deal, Councilman Willis Meadows, former Senator David Thomas, among a lot of other concerned citizens of Greenville County. We appreciate the opportunity to be here, but I'll tell you something, just from my heart here. I don't think any of one of us really wanted to be here. I don't think any of one of us really wanted this to happen this way. And the unfortunate and the sad part about it is it really didn't have to happen this way. We didn't have to be here. We didn't have to be in the situation where we are right now. But unfortunately, the Greenville Health System Board and the Greenville Hospital System Administration chose, for whatever reason, that this was the way they were going to approach things. This is the way they were going to do business as far as how they were going to handle the reorganization of a $6 billion asset of the citizens of Greenville County. We would still prefer that it be done differently. We would still prefer the opportunity to sit down with the board, to sit down with the administration, and have a good, honest dialogue and discussion about what is appropriate, what is acceptable, what is best for us to take and move forward in this situation. We're leaving that door open. We invite them to come and do that, to sit down and chat with us about this issue and have an honest discussion about the options that are out there available, because there are a number of them that are out there available for us. There's a very successful program at Carolina Health System in Charlotte. They have been very successful without doing what GHS is trying to do here. There's a very successful program in Georgia that has been very successful throughout the state of Georgia without having to do this, without having to take a $6 billion asset of the citizens of this county and giving it away for $1 per year. That is insane. That is absurd. And if you want to have an honest discussion about this issue, if you want to talk about expansion and survival in today's healthcare market, let's have that honest discussion. But don't do it behind closed doors. Do not meet behind closed doors for over a year and then come out and tell us this is what you're going to do, come hell or high water. And if you don't like it, fine, sue us. That is not the way to approach this. Many of us who are here today gathered together with the administration and with the chairman of the board several months ago. And let me tell you, I was very disappointed at that. Very disappointed in how it went that day. Because the very first words out of the chairman of the board's mouth was, we're here meeting with you today not because we wanted to, not because we wanted to discuss this issue with you, because we felt we had to. Because someone had already spilled the bean to the press. How would you have felt to be put in that situation and have someone invite you to come and meet with you and tell you at the very beginning of the meeting, I really don't want to talk to you today. I really didn't intend to talk to you today, but I'm having to do that. That is no way to address this issue. That is no way to move forward. We invite them to come together with us and have a good, honest discussion about this issue. Because one of our greatest fears that we have had with this issue is what we're seeing take place right now in reality. Now that they have moved forward, now that they had created these corporations, these private corporations, what we are seeing today is the worst of what is called corporate medicine. Not patient-centered medicine, but corporate medicine. Where you have a hospital laying off hundreds of personnel, doctors, nurses, where you have them in a budget shortfall for the actions that they have taken, and turning around in the same breath almost and giving out $2.4 million, that's million with an M, dollars in bonuses to a few executive employees, almost in the same breath as they're taking away snacks from chemotherapy patients in their care. If that's what you want for patient-centered medical care in Greenville County, then brother, it's here. It is a reality today. That is what we have. That is our worst fear, and it is a reality. We're here ready and willing to sit down and address this issue. Again, we didn't want to be here. We didn't want to be in this situation. But we were not going to stand idly by and watch a $6 billion asset of the citizens of this county be given away for $1 a year. We weren't going to stand by and watch patient-centered health care that has worked great for the citizens of Greenville County for many, many decades be turned into corporate medicine. Because who suffers the most in those situations? More than likely it's not us, the ones who are out here. It's the poor, it's the disadvantaged, it's the impoverished that suffer the most from these sorts of decisions. And when you turn over health care to a corporate environment from out of state, then this is what you get. And we're not going to idly stand by and let that happen. We can't do that on behalf of the citizens of Greenville County. We call on the school board. We call on, the hospital board to stand up to their financial and management obligations given them by state law under Act 432. Take responsibility, meet with the citizens of Greenville County, discuss real options, not robbing the citizens of Greenville County for meeting the needs of patients in Greenville County, in the greater community, going forward in today's healthcare environment. But do not take away our assets. Do not take away our patient-centered health care. We will not stand idly by for that. I'll be happy to take any questions you might have.
What are you hoping ultimately will be done as a result of filing this lawsuit?
We're hoping that, one, it will bring the hospital board and the administration to the realization that we aren't just going to lie in bed and watch this happen. We're not just going to idly sit by and let them take this $6 billion asset of the county citizens away without a fight. And they will come to the realization that they should do what they should have done at the very beginning, which is sit down with us and the citizens of this county and in this area, because the hospital system represents Lawrence, Pickens, and Old Coney County also. They have a great deal of a stake in this. Sit down with us and let's talk rationally and look at the real issues that they're having to deal with, and let's look at some very good options that are out there that have been very successful in other states, instead of going about taking our assets away from us and our hospital system away from us here in Greenville County.
Is it too late for that, or do you have to get a court opinion because the AG's thinks that ultimately a decision?
The ball is in their court. They can take and do this at any time, and I've invited them to do this before, and we've all invited them to do this before. We've even set up meetings with them to do so that have been very unfruitful. It's mainly because they weren't entertaining any options. They were moving straight ahead and moving forward with it no matter what. And that's the wrong attitude to take place. Just like the attitude that they had with us when they first met us. We are here not because we want to sit down and talk with you, not because we want your thoughts and ideas, even though you're the ones that passed the last revision we had to the Act 432 2 years ago in 2014. We don't want to talk with you. We didn't want to talk with you, but we're here because we have to. That's not the attitude to take with this. It's not the attitude to take that we're going to take your assets away no matter what you say anyway.
I think one ruling said that they were considered a special purpose district versus a public entity, but can you make sense of that to the public and why?
Absolutely. Act 432 created the Greenville Health System in the board by state statute. They're considered by case law as well as by others that have looked at statute a special purpose district to the state, just like Pelham Batesville Fire District. Anything else that's created for a special purpose to meet a special need of the citizens of that area. They were given a certain amount of responsibilities to take and do. There were some 26 responsibilities that were given to the GHS Board of Trustees. When you look at the law, that's what they're supposed to do. But when you look at what has been done through these contracts and through these agreements and the setting up of these corporations, they have taken those 26 responsibilities that have been given to them by state law and given those away to a private nonprofit corporation that could be in Chicago. As far as we know, we have no idea where these people really are and where they will be in the future or who they may be in the future because they're self-determining. And they have given it to them, and there's only 3 duties that are left for the GHS Board. You had 26 before by law, you have 3 that are left. None of those 3 that are left have any resemblance to what was stated in the law. That is a problem.
Representative, multiple times we've spoken to the CEO. They've said, this is not going to be felt by patients, that nobody that comes here for patient care is really even going to notice that this is happening. Why is that wrong, in your opinion?
Tell that to the patients whose doctors have been fired. Tell that to the patients whose nurses have been fired. Tell that to the cancer patients that are taking chemotherapy. They are now being told, you're going to have to sit here for 8 hours, but we're not going to give you snacks like we have done before. All while they're giving $2.4 million in bonuses to a few executive employees. What would you say?
When do you expect to get an answer out of the court system from this suit?
I'd really, reasonably, I don't expect it to be anytime soon. We will just have to wait and see.
So they can continue on even before a judge rules?
They can, but they're still going to have that cloud over them. One of the problems that they're having right now with their bond issue, you may have read that in the Greenville News today, is that, which is a situation not created by us complaining to the governor's office, but created by them, by the actions that they have taken, well beyond what they told us they were going to do. They sat and met with the delegation in a public meeting and told us and the public that they were not going to move forward with these agreements until after this case was resolved by the courts. They've done it anyway. So they created their own bed and they're having to lie in it now and they don't like it.
What would you have to say about some critics of the lawsuit who are saying that it's just a way to give politicians more control versus people who are healthcare professionals or health?
I say the proof is in the pudding. I mean, you take a look at what's happening here. Not only are they taking away the duties and responsibility that was given to the Board of Trustees by the laws of South Carolina, but they're also taking away our patient care. Look at what is happening as a result of this. And you ask yourself, is that right? Is this where we really want our health care to go? And I think the answer from everyone is no. This is not right. This is not where we want our health care to go. This is not what we want to happen with a $6 billion asset of the citizens of Greenville County.
Also speak about
if they want to do that, what they need to do is they need to have a referendum. If they want to buy the hospital system and the taxpayers of Greenville County says, yes, okay, let's sell it, that's fine. But that's a whole different scenario from what is happening right now. What they're doing is in Chicago's type style of politics, they're telling us, we're going to do this. We don't care if you like it. We don't care if you want us to do this. We're going to take your hospital system, we're going to take your assets, and we're going to take your patient-centered health care away from you, and you're not going to have any say about it. And that's wrong.
GHS might argue that, it's technically not owned by the public. It's a nonprofit, and it gets public dollars through Medicare and Medicaid, things like that, but it's not technically owned by the citizens of Greenville.
That's an excellent question. I'm glad that you brought that up, because let me give you just a little analogy. Brenda and I own a house. We have 4 years left to pay on our mortgage. At the end of that 4 years period of time, I am not going to sell that house for $1 a year for the next 100 years. That ain't happening. And that's what's happening right here. They're telling us that that asset that they have paid off the mortgage on is no longer our asset. That is wrong.
What exactly can the citizens of Greenville do in order to stop this from happening? Those who are alarmed by or do not agree with what's going on.
They need to let their voices be heard. They need to call the GHS Board of Trustees They need to call the administration and let them know that they are not happy with what's happening to their hospital system and to their patient care. And to the delegation members. Call the delegation members and let them know that you're not happy about that you want to see this stop.
You're only seeing a handful of the delegation members here. The rest are not supporting what we're doing.
Now, Shane Martin, Carl Allen, and others are. Shane Martin sent an email to me earlier today. He wished he could have been here. He was called away on business. He couldn't be here today, but he said to please make sure everyone knows that I'm fully in support of what we're doing here today, and fully in support of the lawsuit. He's a signature on the lawsuit and a part of the lawsuit. And Senator Carl Allen, he's been with us. He's been working with us on this issue for the last year.
Could you point out what's at stake if, like, the public doesn't react quickly and voice their concerns?
Public entities could do the same.
Well, what's at stake is that we will lose our $6 billion asset. We will lose our patient-centered health care. We will lose it to a corporate mentality and to a corporate system that favors giving bonuses to executives over patient care.
Also, Pandora's box could be opened, and there are other state entities, the Ports Authority, our universities, our fire stations. What if each of those entities, which are special purpose districts in one way or another with the state, what if they just decided to say, let's go private, let's take these assets that the people paid for. You know, GHS in its initial form built the city hospital in 1912. We've had 104 years of experience with the public paying for all of these years the mortgage on this hospital, and it has evolved to where it is now. And for it to just sweep up $6 billion with a B dollars of assets and just hurry them off into a private entity where there's no oversight from the county, there's no oversight from the state.
That's right.
And they're a self-perpetuating board. They'll make the decision who the CEO would be, what the patient's rates will be, and it'll go on and on with no say for the public. And they won't have a public hearing. They won't. They abhorred the idea when we suggested let's have a public hearing on this and let the people get involved.
Let me ask you a quick question. With all of this in mind, with all of you heard today, why would you think that they would want to do this? Let me tell you one reason that they state in their own documents as to a plus and an advantage for doing this. Because they would not have to abide by the Freedom of Information Act and the public's interest any longer. They say that in their own documents. And if that doesn't concern you and the press and the citizens of Greenville County in this area, I'm not sure what would.
It's going to cost them $100. $1 for 100 years.
Another thing that should concern you greatly is, you know, their plan in writing is to go from right here to the Atlantic Ocean. Now, what happens when you have a monopoly created? What happens when you have less choices in health care and everybody's in one system? You're captured by whatever this new organization says are the patient rates. And if it goes all the way to the Atlantic Ocean, you know, you're going to have one big ruling monopoly over the state, and then they can set the patient rates with little or no competition. So, you know, healthcare costs are going to continue to just boom up 40, 50, 60%. And it's not going to be a good thing. And we've had a very difficult time getting the word out of our side of the story. And, you know, GHS is a great asset. They're the largest employer in the county, maybe in the state. And they put a lot of money out to political causes, to charitable causes, and they're well thought of. And it's hard to get the message out of what's really going on because they're known as to be so charitable. And they do a great work, but they have crossed the Rubicon now and gone in a bad direction. And we're trying to stop this from going forward. And we need the help of the citizens to speak up. If you don't like what's going on, you need to speak up. You need to let those other delegation members, they're about 45% of the delegation who is in favor of this with the newly elected folks. There are 57%, I believe, that are against this. We need to put the pressure on the delegation and those board members and let them know that you're not happy with what's going on. You know, I talked to several of the board members and I asked them, did you vote on this $2.4 million of bonuses last December 15th? They didn't know they voted on it. It was hidden in a huge big budget, and it just happened. And the top 13 executives shared in that $2.4 million, and there's about $6.5 million of salaries out of those same top 13 executives. And so, you know, the truth of the matter is, it's the administration running GHS, and the board is, you know, they're a talented group, but they've just gone along with this plan. And I don't think they really understand some of the pitfalls that they're getting into, including $6 billion of the citizens' assets that are just going to be swept away. And then that opens Pandora's box for other assets in the state to follow the same suit, do the same thing. And I would hate to be the governor in charge of letting this kind of thing go forward. And I'd hate to be a member of this delegation and not stand up and at least try to keep this from happening. And then when it happens, people are going to look back and say, well, some tried, some didn't, and I hope we hold everybody accountable to whichever side we're on.
Let me close things out also by taking and issuing that challenge once more in closing of this press conference. We challenge and request the GHS Board of Trustees and Administration to sit down with us and the citizens of Greenville County and discuss the reliable and the proven options that are available to us to exist and to thrive in this healthcare market without giving away the $6 billion in assets to Greenville County citizens. We challenge them to take and to meet with us, to meet with the citizens. Let's discuss these options. Let's move forward in a rational manner, and let's stop this insanity that we're in right now. Thank you for being here.